right, who wants to start? Why are we all sipping our tea?
Hey everybody, I'm Daphne. This is Jasmine, Rourke, and Gabby, and we are here for the Book Girls Club, and we're really excited to talk about some books that we've been reading.
Like, it's not, yeah, because I was like, I'm concerned people are thinking this book is like sexual, and it's far, like there is a sex scene, but it's far from sexual. Like, it's concerning. It's nasty.
I'm dead. Morgan's dying.
Okay, because like, guys, I've never dealt with a sex scene that made me that uncomfortable. Like, that was...
Were there any other parts in the book where you were like, oh, this is weird, or it was just a sex scene?
I guess the whole... Okay, so the book itself is gonna make... There was a part, okay, so children are considered a delicacy. Spoiler. Yeah. So like the guy was like talking to his son. The owner is the father of the main character, and he was talking to him, and he was trying to share this piece of meat with him, and he's like, this is the best meat you can find, because it was a child. And it was just that took me for a whole different type of spin. Like, he describes it like eating veal almost, you know, like, it was just...
Well, they do say that, you know, like humans taste like chicken.
Right, because this was... Delicious. Like, even the guy, when he was talking to his niece and nephew, who was twins, he described them as pork and, like, salmon. That's how he described how they would taste.
Like, salmon? I love me some salmon.
Yeah, the whole thing kind of takes you for a spin. Like, it's not your typical book.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So would you ever, if you were, you know, stranded somewhere in the middle of nowhere and you had to survive and you were the only survivor and everyone else was dead?
I'd probably eat if the person's already dead. Yeah, but that's not how this book was set up.
No, it was actually like a full-on menu. Like, oh, we got some kids.
It's
black
kind
kids,
of like,
white kids, Spanish kids.
It was a slaughterhouse. You know how they raise cows and breed cows for the best kind of meat?
Right,
that's what
it's
they
like
did
that.
With they took a subset of humans and did the same thing. So that's all they were known to be. They weren't taught anything. They weren't given any education. They were just meat in a slaughterhouse waiting to be slaughtered.
Wait, so I have a question. So in the book, do they know English?
The book is based in Argentina. So technically they know Spanish, but the people that are being slaughtered, they aren't taught much of a language. They know like little things, kind of like children, you know, but they're not actually taught a language. They just kind of hope for the best. It's so depressing. Like,
so this is
you're expecting.
This is society. Like, could you imagine?
Yes,
this
is what society has come to. Like, there was a virus that contaminated all the meat, and they like released studies that said, plant proteins won't help human like civilization survive. We have to eat protein. So that's how they introduced this whole idea of eating humans as the next bet.
There's some other ways to get protein.
No, but that's what they're saying is plant protein is not it. It's not sufficient enough to sustain society. They have to have some type of meat protein.
Why wouldn't you just
so what was like your
Look up some
If
more
there
books.
is, like, what was your favorite part of the book? Like, what was the part where you were like, yo, like, it's getting, I don't know, this is probably not a good word, but like, it's getting juicy.
It's not one of those books that has like a juicy part. I guess the ending for me was one of those like, it's one of those people like, okay, if you don't like those endings that are not happily ever after, this won't be your book. But this ending for me was kind of one of those endings that I like.
Is there anything you didn't like about the book other than the cannibalism, obviously? But I mean,
No. I actually enjoyed the cannibalism. That it was disturbing. I enjoyed the cannibalism. Okay.
I was just trying to give you like, oh, we don't love cannibalism.
When this is not going to be approved for social media, like.
It's not gonna be approved. I don't know. What I didn't like about the book is that it is really, like I said, there's no juicy parts. There's nothing that's like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? Let me turn the page. You're really turning the page to see how this ends because you want to know if something's gonna change. You know, like if someone's gonna actually do something about how society is now.
Right.
That's it. That's the reason. I guess that's what I don't like about the book is there is no juicy part.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
There was
It's a
some,
good book.
there was
I
some
mean, if
juicy
you're into
parts,
that,
though.
like, you know, if you're into that twisted stuff, like if you're into twisted, kind of makes you think about like, oh, this can be today's world, then this is your book. But other than that,
I
you're
kind of
not
want to
gonna
read
get.
it.
It's really good.
I kind of want to read it, though, because I like those kind of books. I mean, I'm, but I like those kind of books.
See? It's like if you have that personality, you're going to enjoy the book. But if you want that happily ever after, don't read it.
Right. Is there any significance to the title? Like, why is it called Tender is the Flesh?
Because I guess it's a play on words. It's about the meat that they're eating, the special meat that they call it, you know? It's literally just human meat. Tender is the flesh. Yeah.
Yeah, would you do it?
Would I do what?
Would you eat somebody?
I mean, for a survival thing, like if I actually had to eat somebody to
Probably. I
Whatever.
think all of us, if we're pushed to the limit, we would.
like
No, but like in the book, it also shows there's like a different side of society that doesn't eat the meat. They are technically considered vegans because they don't believe in that. Which the main character's sister is considered a vegan. Like that's how she raised her children and her family. They don't eat the meat. So there is another part of that society that doesn't contribute.
oh, so they're like
And feet are it's so weird because like hands and feet are a delicacy. It's like it's so weird.
you would think like the meat.
And
So
they
is it like,
how
is that
it
for rich
starts-
people? Like different?
No, it starts off like how it
Like different-
started off, like people eating them. So like at first they would describe it as like typical meat. So they'd be like, oh, this is a pork loin or something like that. They would describe it like meat. But then it like society kind of evolved to where like everyone's okay with eating. Everyone knows what they're eating now. They don't have to say, oh, this is a New York strip. Or, you know what I mean? Like, no. Now it's like, oh, here's the hands, here's the feet, here's the heart of a human. Like, it's, yeah.
Is
Like,
there any
full-on
body part
butcher
like strictly
shots.
for the rich?
Huh? I mean,
Is there any body parts that are strictly for the rich?
No.
Like any, like something like that? Like, like caviar? Like it's like,
The-
that's like a rich
The
delicatessen. Yeah.
caviar, I guess, was the children.
Ugh.
And there's like that was kind of like the caviar.
But you know what? Like with
Honestly,
everything
how
going
I
on now.
I
with,
took it
like,
very political. That's how I read the book.
right? Yeah.
That's how I read it.
That's what
'cause
I
it was-
first think about when I hear about this.
Oh no, it was very political. It was just how the government can control.
That's the vibe I get. Like,
And like that's how I took it. I don't know. I guess it depends on the reader, but I really did take it very political. I was shocked by all of it. But even how the ending was, it was like, okay, we're going to continue
Like,
society.
damn, right.
Like, this is it.
I
You
can,
know?
like,
And we're
can,
getting
like-
drinking.
she's drinking a beer.
Oh, beer. All right.
A beer. A beer.
Wait, so I feel like this could like happen in life. Do you guys feel like this could like really happen like in our society today? Like something happens and the only meat that we have access to is like human meat.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the way it started
don't
off,
think-
it was a virus that broke out. Don't that make you think about 2020? But yeah, it was a virus that broke out and contaminated the meat.
That hit way too close to home.
Right. That's why I was like, what the hell? So, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you never really know. Like, I don't put anything past like the world. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Right.
want to be like a pessimist, but I'm a realist. Like, I just think like, you know, the world is a beautiful place. Like, I believe that, and there's some great people here. But I also am a realist, and I see the nasty side. You know, so I wouldn't put it past the world. Like, if some shit
Right.
like that happened. Sorry. Too much.
That's scary.
I'm very
I'm shook.
It's
Tender
real.
as the flesh.
I think everyone should read it. Honestly, you all should read it.
That was my Hotel Transylvania voice.
Was it?
Wait,
Do it again. Do it again.
That was my drag voice. Tender is the flesh.
I don't think that's his voice. Blah blah blah.
Yes, it is.
blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
It is creepy.
But
Yo,
would
that
you
sex scene-
recommend it to
That sex
others?
scene. Oh my gosh, yes. That sex scene had me all sorts of so disgusting.
Details.
Can't
What?
get over it. I really can't. Do you want to know how they started? Do you
Yeah,
want to know?
Wait,
The girl licks blood off of him, like human blood off of him.
you just start eating.
Yeah.
Shit just gets to go.
Like she licks it off. He makes her lick it off of it. Mind you, this is not a girl that like he's in love with. This is one of the like cattle. I know that's call them cattle, but it's one of the cattle. Yeah, you heard what I said.
So
Wait, so did he rape her, or is this like a consent thing? Did she consent? Did she want?
I don't know.
I don't think she's educated.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think it can be consent. Like,
Oh my god.
I don't think it can be.
So there's a whole rape scene. That's a trigger.
How do
warning.
they know what children to take as meat or as food?
What do you mean? Like
I mean, if they take all of the children, you know, if they reproduce, they take all the children. I mean, it's only a matter of time before they run out of children.
no. So like they have a subset of women
Okay.
that are used to reproduce, kind of.
Oh,
You know.
like handmaids too.
I was just about to say
Yeah, I
that.
was about to say.
Licking of blood. That reminds me of like that little nub scene that Daphne sent me. Oh,
It was sick. Like it was like in the way. Okay, so if you do the audiobook, which I did part of the audiobook for half of it to finish it, especially in time. The audiobook, I obviously had to start it where it was the sex scene. And they're like thrust. And I was like, oh my God, stop. Like it was no. Don't audiobook that part. I'm just gonna say.
My book, I give it a 3 out of 5. I only say that because I guess it's a page turner only because you're hoping something bigger is gonna happen, but because it doesn't, it's kind of a letdown for certain people. But I give it a 3 out of 5. It's an easy read for the most part.
So my book was You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. and it is a romance novel. It's good. This book had a lot less drama compared to other like romance novels that I've either read or listened to.
Real quick, where's Rourke?
Uh-oh.
Right here. I'm eating a
Oh,
burger,
shit.
y'all.
Sorry.
Let me eat my burger in peace. Well, she talks.
We're trying to do the.
Who's doing her review?
Yes, I'm listening, but I'm just eating.
Oh, I'm dead.
Ready.
Okay. So basically there are two main characters, Jasmine Rodriguez, and Ashton Suarez, and both of them are cast in a TV show, which is like aired on kind of like a Netflix like subscription service. And basically like this show will, like, if it's done well, will like bring them to like the top. So they have a lot riding on this show and like their chemistry in the show. So Jasmine, she, which is me, you know, we got the same name. We just gotta go.
Say what you mean, you know? She totally embodied this character.
Listen.
So basically Jasmine has her last relationship like abruptly ended, and basically she's like, I'm done with men, like I just want to focus on my career and, you know, do what I gotta do to be successful. So Ashton shows up or whatever, and what's cool about this book that I really liked is that they're filming the TV show and you actually get to read scenes from the TV show. It's like woven into each chapter.
That's cool.
So that's something that's really cool. So you kind of get like two storylines in one. And basically Ashton, without revealing too much, Ashton has like a huge secret that he has kept from the entire world. Like nobody knows about this secret. And basically he tries to keep everyone at a distance, so no one finds out his secret. Okay. And that creates like some friction between him and Jasmine because they have to like develop chemistry for their TV show, and like him keeping everybody away like kind of prevents that from happening. So I mean, you know, as romance novels go, you know, they fall for each other, of course, and everybody finds out.
So he's not gay?
I love
that. No.
He's not.
I just think I'm like the only like really like big secret that he would want to not reveal. Well, yeah, but if they end up together at the end, then you know.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's not really a spoiler alert, but no, he's not gay. If you guys want to guess, I already told Dad, but we talked about.
Yeah. Was he like on drugs?
Nope.
Does it have anything to do with, like, is he broke?
Is he like rich? No. He's the owner of the like.
He has money. They both have money. They're like, he was a telenovela star and she was in soap operas before they were cast.
So a secret that he decided that he wanted to like steer clear of everyone and not having nobody speak.
He's not Hispanic.
No, he.
Oh, that's a good one. He's not Spanish.
No, he is.
Oh, I was gonna say that's kind of good. I wouldn't have saw that coming. That was a good twist. But you know what? Like, are we getting close? Or are we like nowhere near?
We're nowhere.
You're nowhere.
Is it about him, or is it about his family?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he got kids?
His family owns the show. He got kids?
Secret.
You know how many men have kids nowadays? Why are these secrets?
Everybody got kids.
Yeah. He has a son. So you find out the secret like that he has a son, or the first. He has a son. Something happened, and the mom who was in telenovelas with him, she didn't want nothing to do with the boy, with her son. So she was like, don't tell nobody that this is my son. He's yours.
Gosh.
Yep. Somebody broke into his house, and they broke into his son's nursery. So after that, I don't want nobody to know. The tabloids are crazy. So that's why he hid the secret of his son.
You know what I like, though, is that this book came after my weird ass book, because this is super lovey-dovey. It sounds like, and it's like, oh, you get the happily ever after. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Do you get the happily ever after?
Is there like bomb? So they're like bomb one-liners, like, you know, like those bomb one-liner, like romantic scenes, like with the one line, and you just be like, damn, like I felt that.
Oh yeah.
No, not really. No. But
there sounds like, so the flow of the book, is it like a typical romance novel, or does it have like those little twists, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like even though she's like written off men, he's fine. Ashton is fine, and she's down. Like, it is kind of like a typical romance story, but he's like trying to keep her at a distance, but it doesn't work because they have like kissing scenes in the show, like their exes in the show.
Right.
They end up getting together in the show too. They have to do like makeout scenes, and they have to practice the makeout scenes like an actual show. Like,
was the sex scene bomb?
There were several.
Were they bomb?
Too like descriptive, like oh my gosh, like, I play this too loudly because somebody's gonna hear this. It was like a little bit descriptive, but it wasn't like, oh my lord type. But it was good. It was good.
Was there anything you didn't like? Anything that you kind of were just like, yeah, we could have kind of did without?
I think this was a pretty chill book. Jasmine found out that he had a son. Like, he didn't tell her. Like, somebody like leaked the story that he had a son, and she was just like, oh, you didn't tell me, you lied to me. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Super annoying where like half the book they're like mad at each other.
Right.
It's like 2 chapters where she's pissed, and then they eventually make up. That's the end of the book. So it's like a good, chill, easy summer read, or you're driving your car, or you have some free time, you're doing the dishes, that type of thing. But it was like, oh my gosh, like this story is so good. But I thought it was a good book.
Was anything surprising in the book?
I kind of feel like the baby reveal is like underwhelming. Like, if you ask me, like,
yeah, because like she was like it said it in like the second chapter. So was there anything that was like really surprising in the book that kind of was like, oh, I didn't see that coming type of thing?
No.
Now, if he wasn't Spanish, like that would have been dope. Like if he wasn't Spanish, like he was hiding it, that would have been dope.
Yes. No. That would have been crazy if that happened. So one thing that did surprise me, not necessarily about like the storyline, but about the content, was that throughout the story, the author like talks about like different social issues or like social topics. Like Jasmine, she's not fluent. She doesn't speak Spanish fluently. She's supposed to be speaking Spanish in the show, like throughout the show. Ashton is like, oh, that's interesting. She's not a fluent Spanish speaker, but her character is.
Right.
And then another thing was like they talk about like colorism in the Latinx community.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, but it's like very subtle, a couple or like 2 or 3 sentences like in the book, but it's mentioned, and that's something that isn't really talked about in any of the books that I've ever read. Where do they mention? Oh, in the book they mention gender neutral bathrooms. Like that's never mentioned in books, but that's something that we see in society today a lot. What else? They talk about like one of the cast members on the show has a trans flag like outside of her trailer. Like that's something different that I've never seen in a book as well. What else?
So like basically just like bomb representation that, like you said, we wouldn't normally see in any of the mainstream books we read.
Yeah.
Like, we live in a different time now.
Yeah, it's like they took today's time and what's happening today. And and they like nicely weaved it into the novel.
Yeah.
We were in that gender neutral in Montreal, remember?
Yeah. I was
Yeah,
so surprised. I never seen anything like that before.
Like everybody was walking right, like it was like nothing. Like, and I wasn't uncomfortable either. I walked right in, and we
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty
No. Cool. Yeah. So I think it's a pretty good book. I would recommend it for sure.
It's a good book for today's times.
right.
I would do a 4 out of 5. It was a good, easy read, but